So welcome to you all. Lovely to see you all this morning, and welcome to the second in our series around the Beatitudes. So, like we did last week, we're going to begin with the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic as our invocation this morning. So if you know that, then please join with us. But if you don't know it, don't let that worry you. Just let the words wash over you and absorb the sound and the feeling of it. Avun de Bashemaya, Nikadishmach, Tete Malkuta, Nehwun Sebyanach Aikana de Bashemaya Afba'ar Hablan Lachma de Sun Kanan Yaumana, Wash Buklan Halbain Wachtahain, Aikana Dafchanan Shvachen al Hayabain, Wela Taklan Lenasuna, Ela Patsan Min Bisha, Metul Delache Malkuta, Wa Haila Wa Teshbukta, La'alam Amin. Amen. So we're going to take 3 steps forward on our healing spiral this session. And all of it is focused on coming more fully into embodied lovingness, knowing our loving nature and knowing that we are held in love. So just to prepare the scene for that, I wanted to ask Salik to lead his beautiful dance about love in Arabic.
Thank you.
To begin with that.
Ya Rahman,
Ya Rahman,
Ya Rahim.
Ya Rahim.
There's this radiant love, Rahman, that penetrates to all parts of the universe, all parts of our being and of all beings. Ya Rahim, compassionate, deep, holding, enfolding love which reaches every part of ourselves, deep within and without.
Could I just say something here? Because the reason that I asked Salik to lead this dance is that the root of this word, these words, Rahman and Rahim, they come from the word which means womb. And we find it in Aramaic too. We're going to be singing later on lamrahmane and rahme, and that's the Aramaic form of the word for love. So all of them have their origin in the word of which means womb, so that we can understand love as radiating from the womb of the Great Mother from the beginning of all time. That's what love is.
But there's something about thinking about a womb as a dark, enfolding place which I really like. So love is not just about light and radiance, it's about dark and enfoldment and nurturing and holding, which really feels to me quite balanced. Yeah. And there's some other words too, some more Arabic phrases which I'll just need to think about for a moment.
Just sing it.
La ilaha illallah.
La ilaha illallah.
Nothing exists except unity, except love. Ishq Allah, Ma'bud Allah.
Ishq Allah, Ma'bud Allah.
God is love, lover and beloved. And
Bismillah.
Bismillah. Alhamdulillah. We begin in the name of Allah, of love. All praise and thanks return to the One. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, La ilaha illallah, ishqallah mahbudallah, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Would you like to sing that with me? Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, ishqallah ma'bud Allah, Bismillah, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Let's sing it through together one more time. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. La ilaha, La ilaha illa, ishqallah, ishqallah ma'bud Allah, Bismillah, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. It's all about love. Okay, so let's, if you can move and stand up, then do, but we can do some of these movements sitting down as well. And the really sort of central movement here is on Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. On Ya Rahman, we're opening our arms like this, opening them so that we can feel our chest opening, our heart opening even. And then on Rahim, we bring our hands back in, right hand on the heart, left hand on the womb space, the place where our womb would be if we're a man. So Ya Rahman, radiant, Ya Rahim. There's something a bit more inward when we bring our arms back in and hold ourselves here. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. And just one more thing, the sound of Rahman, this open sound, goes along with this open gesture. And then Him, we can feel, I invite you to feel the sound He going down into the body, vibrating further down within our body into our belly. Him. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. And then the rest of the movements, I'll just go through them quite quickly. We're going to carve this crescent with our hearts and then bow on La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. And then we're moving in and out. Ishqallah ma'bud Allah. Stepping in and out. Ishqallah ma'bud Allah. Bismillah. Crossing hands over heart. Bowing the dervish bow. Alhamdulillah. Touching our heart and throwing our hands to the heavens in praise. Bismillah, alhamdulillah. And then on the last Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, we're going to radiate on Ya Rahman as we turn to the right. Ya Rahman, Ya So Jilani's going to dance it for the first few before she picks up her viola. So if you get lost, just watch her. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, La ilaha, La ilaha illallah, Ishkala, Ishkala, Ma'budallah, Bismillah, Bismillah, Alhamdulillah. To invite the high voices. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. All together. La ilaha illallah, Ishqallah, Ma'budallah, Bismillah. Just breathing the words. more time. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Ya Rahman, Ya
Thank you, Salik.
Pleasure. Thank you for joining with us.
So let's just become aware of our breathing. No need to change anything, just noticing the breath coming in and out. The way of experience begins with a breath, such as the breath you are breathing now. Awakening into luminous reality may dawn in the momentary throb between any two breaths. So as we're aware of the in-breath and the out-breath, we can also be aware of the little space in between. Noticing how the breath changes direction. And we began this Beatitude journey with the breath. Yeshua says, "Blessedly ripe are those who make their home in the breath, who recognize the breath as their first and last possession." For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. But through this practice of conscious breathing, heaven on earth is available to us right now. And I'm sure we all know already the power of connecting to the breath in this way. One conscious breath can be enough to change a state, to change a mood, to change a situation. Especially when we remember these words of Jesus, Alaha Ruchao. God is breath. This breath we breathe, the breath which unites all of us, all over the world, the same breath, the one breath, the source of life, is not separate from God. And the Sufis say Allah is closer to you than the jugular vein. Well, what's closer than that but the breath? And what we found in the last session is that softening into the breath, becoming aware of the breath, conscious breathing, can open us to more awareness of what's happening for us, what's happening in this body, in this life, in this moment. And often, at first, that awareness may not be particularly pleasant. We might make judgments about it, or we might not, but often we become aware of our pain, our grief, our suffering, when we allow ourselves to feel. And there can be fear that this pain, this grief, this suffering will be completely overwhelming, that it will, if we open to it, it will take us and be all that there is forever. That's quite a primal fear that maybe you can relate to or maybe not. And Yeshua reassures us and reminds us that the reality is that that's not so. That actually in feeling our pain, our suffering, our grief, in releasing it, we begin the process of healing it, being comforted. It is time limited. We will feel it as an overwhelming wave, perhaps, but the wave will subside. And so this brings us to the next step on the healing spiral journey of the Beatitudes. Because just as awareness of the breath opens us up to awareness of our feelings, allowing our feelings to flow can bring awareness of where we are holding on. There's so much holding that happens, holding it together, coping, keeping going, carrying on, being independent, being good enough. So much holding for so many of us. And what Yeshua reminds us with this third beatitude is that in fact, when we soften that holding, when we release some of that rigid tension, which is just about keeping going and staying upright and carrying on, when we soften that, we can actually come into awareness of the support which is available for us, which is there all the time. And the absolutely reliable source of that support is our Mother Earth, who's always there. From the moment we're born to the moment we die, and then after our death, she takes care of our bones for us. That support is there without fail. And of course there are other forms of support as well, from our friends and our families. Sometimes those are harder to let in, and so we can practice letting go into the earth. Tubwayhun
Tubwayhun lamrahmane.
Dehnon nertun arha.
Dehanon nertun arha.
So I'll go through these words a number of times. I'll maybe share another practice in between, but let's just for a few times say the word arha. This is the word that means earth. And for me, stand up for a moment so you can see when I have my hands on my belly and I say arha, there's a little dropping and a release in there. So I really invite you to do that. Place your hands on your body. And feel that letting go, that softening, that release. Let's do that together. And again. And one more time. So this is a good moment, a ripe moment to soften the rigid places. This is a way to understand it. It was translated, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." And the word meek or makike had a certain significance in Aramaic, which is very hard to translate into English, but really it's about this softening quality. Whereas, this Beatitude was used over the centuries to keep people compliant, If you don't argue, you'll go to heaven. That's not really what it's about at all. So just with our breath and our awareness, becoming more familiar with the holding places. What are the places in your body where you hold on, where you hold that tension, where you do this coping and managing? Maybe it's shoulders, maybe it's belly. Just take a few moments to feel in. And, we don't need to do anything particular with this, but just making friends with those places, learning them, greeting them, breathing into them, saying, it's okay. Nertun arha. The earth is here, supporting us. So just a few short lines of poetry to guide some of this. Diving into yourself to reach the source of life, to meet there the presence. The presence creates you anew in every moment. And diving deeper, feel and know the earth. Feel the earth with your feet. Feel the earth with whatever parts of you are connecting with her right now. And tell her about yourself. And the earth, she will answer. She will tell you wonderful things about her love for all the creatures she carries and feeds. So let your attention open towards downwards. Let it awaken the feeling inside your spreading body of how you touch the earth. Open your attention still more downwards. Let it absorb the floor. feeling very intensely the direction downwards, still more downwards, absorb and feel the presence of the earth. This is nertun arha, the support of the earth, coming up to meet us. Kissing our bodies just as we kiss her with our bodies. Tubwayhun lemakike dehanon nertun arha. Tubwayhun lemakike dehanon nertun arha. And we also have one more phrase, Tubwayhun nertun arha.
Tubwayhun nertun arha.
Now is a blessed, ripe time to receive support from the earth. So I'm going to just share my screen so that you can see the words in case you want to. So it's, here we are, number 3. Tubwayhun lemakike dehanon nertun arha. You could say, healthy are those who have softened what is rigid within. They shall receive physical vigour and strength from the universe. They will receive the support of Mother Earth. Tubwayhun lemakike dehanon nertun arha. 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 And just listen to the next part. Tubwayhun nertun arha. 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 So the dance takes 3 parts, and it's a healing ritual, really. So the first part, we are softening together, allowing our feet to kiss the earth, to feel her kisses coming from underneath. And then we're going to move into what the Sufis call a Tasawari Walk. So just a free walk where we embody a healer, a saint, a prophet, a master, even a divine being. Really take that into our bodies so that we can feel what it would feel like to be that being, to bring through that healing onto the earth right now. And then we come into a healing circle, and we'll be in the circle, we would be crossing our wrists like this, but we'll be raising our hands towards the screen. This is Tubwayhun nertun arha. And at that point, most of us will be holding our hands up to the screen, but I invite you to take a turn just to sit and receive and to feel the energy coming through the palms of these hands, the energy of all of these healers, past, present and future, coming through into this moment. And at a certain point we'll also direct that healing to our beautiful mother planet as well. So that's I'll just show you the other movements. And if you're not able to walk, then just adapt things in a way that works for you, or just have the intention. Sorry, my hair's getting tangled up in my guitar strap. So for the first part, Tubwayhun, so it's this really soft movement, soft knees, soft ankles, soft hips, soft shoulders. It's an opportunity to connect again with all of those places where habitually I might be holding on, and just allow a little bit of flexibility, softness, freedom into that movement. And then when we say dalayhun, nertun, arha, we step forward with the right foot and then step out again, right and left. So right, left in, right, left out. Stepping into this healing, this is the opportunity to let our feet kiss the earth and to feel her coming up underneath our feet and supporting us from underneath. So Tubwayhun dalayhun nertun arha, Tubwayhun dalayhun nertun arha. So as I say, if you're sitting, just deeply aware, first of all, of softening and then of receiving that support. And after a little while, I'll call out to walk with the healers, and then, you might, some of the classic mudras, or the gestures of Mary like this, or it might be a prayer position, or whatever you feel comes through you for the healer that you have in mind. Any of the great saints, prophets, or it could be a person that you know in person that you feel inspired by, or even an animal or a tree, an embodiment of our mother. So softening the places that are rigid. But this also actually can be not just physical, it can be in our mental patterns too. Can we soften the way that we think, the way that we feel, so that we can allow in this support? Often it's a mental rigidity which says, I have to do this on my own. How about bringing some softness into that as well? Tubwayhun dalayhun nertun arha, Tubwayhun dalayhun nertun arha, Tubwayhun dalayhun nertun arha, Tubwayhun back into the holding of the circle, directing the healing to those that are receiving. Nertun, and so other people can take a turn. Tubwayhun, nertun, arha. 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 Going back to the first set of movements, softening what's rigid. Tubwayhun, lamrahmane. Yenon, nertun, arha. 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 Tubwayhun, lamrahmane. So walking with the healers. Tubwayhun, lamrahmane. Embodying healing. Nertun, arha. Tubwayhun, lamrahmane. Yenon, 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 nertun, arha. So this could also be embodying earthiness, embodying Mother Earth as we do, each one of us in our bodies right now. We exist because of her. We are born from her body. She gives us the breath of life, and healing comes from her through us. So we can feel ourselves as representatives of Mother Earth, channeling healing. And let's once again share it. If you haven't yet received healing in the group, then make sure you get some this time. Tubwayhun, nertun, arha. 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 Stepping in to receive. Tubwayhun, nertun, arha. 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 Have a second go if you want. Nertun, arha. Tubwayhun, 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 nertun, arha. to go through the cycle again, charging the healing battery, and this time we'll be sending healing to the planet Earth. So we can imagine this great circle that we're in here, encircling the Earth. The Earth is at the centre of our circle, and when we come to the part with our hands up like this, we are directing healing, channeling it through us back to our mother, that she may receive all that she needs in her time of great challenge. So let's charge the battery one more time. Tubwayhun, nertun, arha. Tubwayhun, nertun, arha. The battery. Letting the healing flow through. Through our feet to the earth, connected through our crowns to the heavens, channeling this flow of living life and healing. Let's direct it through our hands to our beautiful mother planet, that she may receive the healing she needs so badly at this time. Tubwayhun, nertun, arha. 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 And so we'll take our arms up to the heavens, we'll bring this healing energy down all the way through our bodies, into our hearts and down into the earth. We'll do this twice, and if you wish to go all the way down to the earth on a prostration, then feel free. Tubwayhun, dalayhun, nertun, arha. Tubwayhun, dalayhun, nertun, arha. Healed are those who soften the rigid places and let in the support available from the earth. So traditionally at this point we have a little break, and normally I would pass around a bowl of dates. So here it is, I'm passing round the bowl of dates, and a glass of water. And Salik will be your representative in having them, but maybe you have some water with you, or maybe you have something to eat. So you have a nibble and a drink. And this is a reminder of the desert landscape where Yeshua made his home. And in the desert, all travellers are treated as beloved guests. On one level, you never know when you might need that support yourself. So you welcome everybody who comes to your door. It's the law of sacred hospitality. You invite them in, you offer them, you share with them your dates, your sweet water. And you hear their travellers' tales, you hear their stories. And together you are fed and nourished on so many levels. And some of you may have heard of Chokhmah. Chokhmah, who is one of the ancient names of the goddess, holy wisdom. Sophia, she was called in Greek. And one of the stories of Chokhmah is that she laid a table, this bountiful table filled with good things to eat, spiced wines, all kinds of good food. And then she went round the community and she called everybody to come and eat. This is such a rich story, I can't possibly do it justice in the time I have available, but just that invitation which we can send out as we sip our water and chew our dates to all of our inner community. Welcome, all parts of myself. Come, there is enough, you will be fed. I know I keep saying this, but I love this about this journey with the Beatitudes, that for me every step is so logical. It just works so perfectly for me. So we've done this softening, we've done this letting go into holding. And then what does that do? It makes room for more of the discomfort to surface. Often that's the result, that's the next stage, that's the result. Yeah? All of the voices which say, you can't do that, that's not okay, there's not enough of this, there's not enough of that, you have to do this, you have to do that. They all start to speak much more loudly when we've given them this room in this softening. And that can be on the inside, or it can be in the world around us on the outside. We might start to feel very intensely the needs and the lack in the world around us, the injustices, the crimes against the climate, the planet, against humanity, all of the terrible things that are going on. We start to be more aware of that and to feel it more intensely. And Yeshua names that straight away. He says, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for justice, for things to be in the way that we know they ought to be. And this hungering and thirsting is also a blessed state. And it will be filled because there is enough. There is enough nourishment on a, on a physical level, on a spiritual level, on an emotional level. This nourishment, as I said, that might come from sharing stories together, that might come from sharing food together, that might come from doing what our bodies need us to do to take care of them. Might be about rest, it might be about nourishment, foods, exercise, about company, and again we might be feeling that lack very intensely at the moment. And on the inner level we can work with our inner community to make sure that nobody in there is left out. Bring them all in, invite them all in, welcome them all in. You see, Yeshua made no difference between the inner community and the outer community. The Aramaic worldview didn't do that. As above, so below. What happens on the inside is also happening on the outside. And the healing that we do with our inner community plays out in the outer world. So, the next step of healing, feeling this hunger, this thirst, inviting in these hungry ghosts and feeding them. Tubwayhun layleyn.
Tubwayhun layleyn.
Dekafnein.
Dekafnein.
Watzheyn.
Watzheyn.
Lachanuta.
Lachanuta.
Dehanon.
Dehanon.
Nisbhun.
Nisbhun.
Tubwayhun layleyn, blessed are they. Dekafnein watzheyn, who hunger and thirst. Lachanuta. This is this word of righteousness when things are in right relationship with one another. Dehanon nisbhun. This word dehanon, it means that inevitably when that is felt, what happens after it will follow. So the nisbhun is the filling. Here we are. Number 4 here. Tubwayhun layleyn, dekafnein, watzheyn, lachanuta, dehanon nisbhun. Blessed are they that hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Or you could say, integrated are those who long clearly for a foundation of peace between the warring parts of themselves. They shall find all around them the materials to build it. I think I'll just leave the words up for a few minutes while I sing it, because it's quite a long one, this. Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, dekafnein, watzheyn, lachanuta, dehanon nisbhun. Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, dekafnein, watzheyn, lachanuta, dehanon nisbhun. Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, dekafnein, watzheyn, lachanuta, dehanon nisbhun. So, I want to reassure you that if you don't know these words yet, then you can still benefit hugely just from the sounds, from letting it wash over you. Some people do know the words here and will hold that energy in that space, and if you do the best you can, just have a go, and connect with the feeling of what we're singing about. That's what's important. So long as you have enough understanding of that, you can still get an experience from this, which is what's important. So we'll show you the movements. I think
It's fine. It'll feel right anyway.
So here we are, spreading Chukhma's table, laying out all of these good things to eat and drink, all of this nourishment on every level. So it's a sort of spreading movement with both the feet and the hands, and it comes from here, deep in the belly, spreading, offering. Look, there is enough. You will be filled. Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, and then we bow to watzheyn, hungering, and raise watzheyn, thirsting. And now we make a crescent from left to right. Nisbhun. And as the hands come into the belly, that feeling of being filled, reassuring those hungry ghosts, you will be nourished. If you wish, there's the way we would normally do it in the circle, there's a little quarter turn for each of these movements. So actually it looks like this. Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, the rahme, watzheyn, lechanuta, nisbhun. Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, the rahme, watzheyn, lechanuta, nisbhun. And the crescent shape always happens as if we were moving anti-clockwise around the circle. So when you're facing in, it's left to right, but when you're facing out, it's right to left. So do that if you choose, or just make the movements work for you. Maybe pick the drum after a little while. So now is a blessed, ripe time to feel our hunger, our thirst for righteousness, to be deeply aware of all of the injustice, of all of the crimes that are happening in the planet, and also within ourselves, all of that warring between the parts of ourselves. Be aware of that and nourish the places that bring that warring separation to be. Nourish those hungry ghosts. We can fill them up. There is enough. Chokhmah, holy wisdom, Mother Earth, there is enough. Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, Tubwayhun layleyn, the rahme, watzheyn, lechanuta, nisbhun. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for justice. They shall be filled. In a very real way, if I'm not aware of my hunger, my thirst, how can it ever be filled? So the feeling of hunger and thirst, which may be uncomfortable, but it is the doorway to having those needs met. Amen. So if I had longer, I would spend much more time with Hukhma. I've just put her name in the chat. Maybe there's another whole session on that sometime. But our time today is drawing to a close, and we just have one more beatitude to work with today. And this is the one which says, going back to the Rahim, this womb space. So this womb space, which is the place where Hukhma lives, where she reigns, this womb birthing space of all of life, all of love. Even in her name, Hukhma, the Rahma is in there. Those echoes were very clear to Aramaic speakers. They would have been aware of that. So Tubwayhun lamrahmane.
Tubwayhun lamrahmane.
Dalayhun nehwun rahme.
Dalayhun nehwun rahme.
We could say, blessed are those who love. Blessed are those who allow this birthing of love to come from the deep, nourished places of their being, because they will feel its warm arms enfold them. And there's something which I'm very aware of, maybe you are too, that when I love from a place of nourishment in myself, a healthy, nourished, loving, then it's somehow much more readily received and returned than when I love from a kind of needy or desperate place. So you see again, this is the next logical step. When we have experienced our need, which might easily be a need for love, it is for all of us at bottom. That's, we have this deep need to love and to be loved. When we have that awareness of that hunger and thirst and the sense of that being filled in our own being, filled in our relationship to the earth, filled in so many ways, then from that nourished place we can birth this radiant love which is truly healing and nourishing to those around us. And as I say, inevitably, then that is returned to us 1,000-fold. Let me show you the words for this again. Tubwayhun lamrahmane, dalayhun nehwun rahme. Blessed are those who from their inner wombs birth mercy. They shall feel its warm arms embrace them. Aligned with the One are those who shine from the deepest place in their bodies. Upon them shall be rays of universal love. And again, it's as above, so below. It's as within, so without. When this love is radiant and birthing from this most deep and darkest core of our beings, when we are able to radiate that outwards, then the mirror comes back to meet us, the reflection comes back to meet us from the universe. Tubwayhun lamrahmane, dalayhun, nehwun, rahme.
Tubwayhun lamrahmane, dalayhun, nehwun, rahme.
And we have another short phrase, Allaha rahme, God is love.
Allaha rahme.
When you feel the presence of love, you know that unity is there, God is there. So here's the melody. Tubwayhun lamrahmane, dalayhun, nehwun, rahme. Together. Tubwayhun lamrahmane. God is love. So, yeah, we'll stand up and show you the movements. So the attention is all, again, in this belly, in this birthing place of love. And we're just making sort of circling and soft movements. Remember that we've softened the rigid places, connecting deeply with this place from which love can radiate forwards. So, Tubwayhun lamrahmane, dalayhun, nehwun, rahme. Tubwayhun lamrahmane, dalayhun, nehwun, rahme. Tubwayhun lamrahmane, dalayhun, nehwun, rahme. Tubwayhun lamrahmane, dalayhun, nehwun, this rahme, and this would often be done with a partner or with a small group. And what we might do is like this. We would be breathing love into each other's hearts. Allah rahme, Allah rahme. So I'm going to invite you to choose a partner on the screen and connect with them and breathe, blow that breath of love into their hearts. Allah rahme, Allah rahme. And you can move, change partners as you feel. We'll do it for a little while when it comes to that. Okay, so birthing this love, this warm love from the depths of our beings, from this nourished place, and radiating it forth and feeling the reflection coming back, the warm arms of love holding us. Tubwayhun, lamrahmane, dalayhun, rahme, Tubwayhun, you to breathe rahme. God is love. We could breathe in ruchao, God is breath, and breathe out rahme, God is love. This breath of God that we breathe, this breath of love, when we breathe consciously, we can touch so many hearts. We can heal. Heal ourselves, heal each other. Heal our Mother Earth with this breath of love. This one sacred breath. Rahme. So friends, thank you for being with us today, and I'd like to just close with the Aramaic Lord's Prayer one more time. This is actually how I learnt the prayer, is just by being in circles where it was repeated so many times. So again, if you're not familiar with it, just let it wash over you. Pick out a few words here and there. Abun de bashmaya, nitkar te malkuta, nehwe tebyana chaykana de bashmaya afba'ar hablan lachma de sun kanan yamana. Washbuklan chaubein wachtahein, Aikana dafchanan schwachen al chayabein. Wela tachlan lenasuna, Ela patzlan minbisha. Metul delache malkuta, Wa haila wa teshbukta. La'alam, Amin. Amen. Bringing the prayer into the body, letting it land in our hearts, in our bellies, in all of this softening, breathing being that we are. Amen, amen.
Amen.